Karen, what are you doing to scare away Paul?
I don't know.
It's every time you show up, he refuses to show
Wait,
up.
no intros?
No.
We're just starting in
Just
on this.
jumping right into it. Paul, what are you doing? Why do you always abandon the podcast whenever Karen's here, huh?
Yeah.
What do you
You're
have against
avoiding me.
Karen?
He's a Chinaphobe.
Oh, he's a Chinaphobe.
It's gotta be it.
Wait, there's a name for every phobia. Is there like, well, I guess you call it xenophobia maybe, but is there like a fear of just a particular race?
Probably, but
That'd be weird.
don't know the name of it.
It's called being in the South. But I'm sorry.
Yeah, then you're scared
Or
of
it's
everything.
just, being racist.
Yeah.
So we could go with that.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Threading and Dreading. We have a light crew tonight, but hopefully more people will show up eventually. I think Kim will be showing up in a little while.
Or the girl next door.
The girl next door. She's at a volleyball game right now, actually, but she'll be showing up a little bit later. But for right now, we have two other ladies in the room, and to my right we have...
I like how we both look to the. We're like, who is it?
To my right. To my right.
Right. We
Not
got
to
3
your...
stars Sapphire.
How you doing?
Here for the night. She's doing good.
It's good. She's feeling a little under the weather right now, but you're okay?
Just a headache.
Okay. All right. That's fine. And across from her we have...
Fangirl extraordinaire.
Hey,
Karen.
how you doing?
I'm okay.
That's good. You've been studying a lot recently.
Trying to work. Yes.
Trying to work.
Working hard on the thesis.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've told this to Karen before, trying to study in Morris Hall is like trying to study in like the most quiet, comfortable environment imaginable. Because when I ever tried to study in Morris, I would just pass out.
Isn't that the library?
Yes.
Why'd you call it Moore's Hall? Is that what it's really called?
It's Morris Library, yeah.
Oh, you call it Moore's Hall.
It's Morris Library.
Okay. I was like, wait, is there a Moore's Hall too? I don't know the library.
That's possible, but...
And, it's the worst when you hit the couches on the basement or the top floor.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. I can't tell you how many times it's like, these are the most uncomfortable couches. And then you, like, settle in and you're like...
Yeah, it's pass out.
You're like, oh, crap. I just fell asleep on the most uncomfortable couch.
I hope it's still there, but do you know the church that's attached to Trabant?
Yeah.
The converted church?
Oh, those are comfy, too.
Those are so comfy.
God.
And you go in there, and it's so quiet in there, too. It's just as quiet as Morris.
Oh,
You
it's
walk
like
in
death
there, and at some points, I had like 2 hours in between classes. I would just go in there and nap. It is the perfect place to nap in between classes.
Ooh, top floor gore, too.
Top floor gore. That's really
Top
good, too.
floor of gore. You just go, you lay in one of like their ends where there's only like a stairwell. Hardly anybody has classes up there.
For those of you who
quiet.
are University of Delaware aficionados, you know what we're talking about. For everyone else, you have no idea what we're talking about,
idea.
so we apologize.
It's okay. I don't know what they're talking about. So,
No, she doesn't sleep in those places. No, she's a very studious
A studious student?
Studious.
Because you forget that I was a Blue Hen ambassador. I had to actually give tours for the entire frigging campus. Except for South Campus. We didn't have to tour South Campus.
That's the best part. That's where I worked.
Yeah, I know that's where you worked, but we weren't going to make them walk another half a mile down to South Campus.
I'm sure some of those people could have used it.
Well, I mean,
Get some fresh air.
Yeah, well...
How many of those people were super nerds who never go outside?
Not many.
I
still remember...
they're all New Yorkers. Never mind.
Oh, yeah. And...
No offense to New Yorkers.
But, no, that's
family.
absolute truth, though. I had one tour where every single person on the tour, all 20 of them, were from Long Island. And they hadn't planned it that way. They all were like one big group. They were just all from Long Island. And the entire time, oh, we loved your tour. We loved your tour. You got a beautiful campus. We loved your tour.
Is that what they sound like?
Yeah. Yes.
Again, I'm butchering a Long Island accent, but that's basically the whole time. I'm like,
it may
you're
be slightly
welcome.
exaggerated.
Yeah, a little
Maybe
exaggerated.
just a little. Not much, but little.
Okay.
But, yeah, and again, I'm trying to be friendly to as many people as possible, but, it's... When you hear that the entire tour and they're asking you questions in that accent, I just it's like nails on a chalkboard eventually. There aren't many accents I hate, but if I had to talk to someone with a Long Island accent for more than like a day, I think I would just jump into the nearest river. I won't be able to deal with it.
You know what's funny is people from Long Island have an accent, but people from Staten Island I found don't.
Yeah, that's strange.
I know.
Maybe it's a Jersey thing with them. I know it's still in New York, but they're closer to Jersey. And many people
guess.
from Staten Island typically commute to Jersey.
I guess.
Well, everybody else thinks, Americans just have an accent in general.
Yeah.
I got told I have an accent.
Well, there is a
I was
Delaware.
like, excuse me?
There is a Delaware accent. I mean,
Yeah, but this is from somebody who's from Dover.
true.
Huh.
But there are little subtle things like saying roof instead of or saying rough instead of roof.
Who says rough?
Yeah,
it's
who
a
says-
roof.
It's a, what? Wait.
I've seen people from Delaware say roof instead of roof.
A roof?
Roof, roof, roof.
Yeah,
Ah.
exactly. Or saying water instead of water.
It's water.
Water,
Water.
but some
Not
people
water.
say water.
Well, it should
There's
be
no D.
water.
Or
There's a T.
Yeah,
Or
I get made
there's,
fun of a lot for that.
Water.
I've heard this from some people. Milk instead of milk. I've been guilty of
Milk.
milk.
Milk?
Milk
Sometimes
instead
I'm
of
like,
milk.
I need
So
some
like
milk.
an E-ish kind of
It's like an
sound?
Milk,
E,
milk,
yeah.
milk.
Or of course the one that everyone I know from Delaware is guilty of, as far as I know. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday instead of Monday, Tuesday.
Sunday.
Like, I swear to you, everywhere that I've worked in my life in Delaware, everyone has said D instead of day at the end of whatever day they're saying in the week.
Well, I guess a bunch of people at work do say ideal.
A deal.
I got an ideal
Oh
instead of
God.
idea.
Well,
Really?
I don't
I'm
know
like-
if that's
I
Delaware.
heard it
that
and I was
before.
like, huh? And I was like, oh, idea. Okay.
You know,
I just
I don't know-
heard it wrong.
I don't know if that's Delaware or just a slower,
I just-
lower thing.
I
I don't know.
just kept
I don't hear
hearing it down
anyone up
there.
here say that.
And I'm just like,
Hmm.
I gotten used to it though.
That's
So
interesting.
weird.
Ideal.
I
I got an
think-
ideal.
That's an interesting one. I mean, Karen.
Oh.
Have you noticed any?
Well, there is one that I noticed when I first kind of started visiting here. It's not really an accent, but a phrase that you guys use a lot. Gotcha.
Gotcha.
A lot of people say that. I don't know.
I didn't know that was that uncommon. I say
I-
gotcha a lot. Yeah.
But I never noticed it anywhere else that I've lived.
Really?
No one else really. Just like
Just say I got you.
no,
Or-
they don't
Or
say
they just
that.
don't say that at
Just
all.
like- they just say like okay or
Huh.
not like gotcha. Because like Robin says it, and so does like my childhood friend Sheila. She says it a lot too. And then I never noticed that from anyone else from anywhere else that I've lived.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's odd. Do you say gotcha a lot?
Oh yeah. It's like,
I'd say it
gotcha.
plenty. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you.
I text it a lot too. Yeah.
See.
Huh.
See.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a Delaware thing or an East Coast thing or I don't know.
It could be regional.
It could be. And it's funny if you ever go and look up certain maps where know certain pronunciations in certain areas and stuff.
Those are
and
funny.
Those are
Yeah,
funny.
they are.
And there's one I just saw the other day. That was between the north, south, and a little bit on the East Coast, which is the difference between you all and y'all, and where you say that. But right in the middle, right where like Jersey and New York was, it's use all.
Use all. Use all's gots to go.
I know, and I was like, wait a minute, no one from
Gotcha.
Delaware, no one from Delaware says use all. That's just a Jersey, New York thing. Trust me.
Never heard that.
But that actually reminds me, how's everyone's Thanksgiving?
Mine was wonderful.
Good.
I've had 3 so far.
And we're gonna have another one this weekend.
And I'll have number 4 this weekend. But this will be the only one I'm cooking for.
Okay. I didn't have to cook for either of the ones I went to. I've been to 2 so far. I went to my family's, of course, which was the one we have down in Odessa, our big family
at the
reunion.
haunted house.
Well, no, it's not at the haunted house anymore because
It's
well,
not at your aunt's?
I think I've talked about this. Well, not on the podcast, but the place we used to have it at our family farm. For anyone who watches our movies, that's where we shoot our movies. It's at my family's farm down in Odessa. My Uncle Neil, who lives down there. It was my Uncle Jack who used to own the place. He was a great guy. But when he passed away, the only person who was taking care of the farmhouse was my Aunt Louise. Now, she's getting up there. She's still very alert. She can still do plenty. But she can't have 50 people in that home just because she can't manage it by herself. She's still, I mean, we'd all
She
chip-
has children and family.
Oh, I know.
The
I know.
wives and gentlemen should be managing the whole thing. She should
I
just
know.
have to open up her home.
Yes. But at the same time, it's getting bigger. It's not getting smaller. And the house can still only hold so many. It's still a big farmhouse, but even so, it can still only hold so many.
That's
Because
true,
now
I
that the
guess.
children are having children, It's
Mike has no children so
no,
far.
I don't have no children.
He doesn't
But-
even have a pet.
Well, I did for a short period, but then he got really
Sparky
sad. And
wanted
then,
to be relocated.
yes,
Mm.
and
Much
he's
to
happy
Mike's
now.
chagrin.
He's very happy now. But what we do now is right up the street from my family's farm is a little one-room schoolhouse. It's
Oh,
actually
you
like,
guys rent the schoolhouse out.
yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, and it's actually like it's like the Townsend Community Center. And it's just one room. It's just a one-room schoolhouse, but we go in there and we have Thanksgiving there. And it's great because there's a kitchen right next to it. There's a bathroom in there. And that's all you need. You know, we still get together. We still have a big meal. We don't have dinner anymore because it'd be a pain in the butt to cook another dinner in there. But it's plenty, you know, and we have a great meal in there, and that's fine. But what we've been doing now since Kim and I have been dating is that halfway through that meal, we leave and go to her family's Thanksgiving, which her family... They make so much food. Oh my God!
They're Italian.
Oh yeah, Italian, Polish.
Enough said.
Yeah, and they make so much food.
Yeah, and Polish. That's
And I'm not
worse.
knocking my family's food. My family makes great food, but it's the traditional fare of Thanksgiving. You know, your stuffing, your mashed potatoes, your turkey, cranberry sauce, all stuff I love. But they make their great like Polish Italian food, and oh my God, some of the stuff they make is so friggin' good. Oh, I can't get enough of that. But we'll go there. And last year I made this mistake. Not this past Thanksgiving, but last year I ate a full meal at my family's Thanksgiving, then tried to eat another one. I was comatose on Black Friday. I wasn't moving. Karen, you had something to say? I saw you
did I?
raise your hand.
Oh no, didn't mean to.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
Speaking of Black Friday, did anyone go out on Black Friday?
Yes.
Actually, yeah.
You did?
Where'd you go?
Oh, we just went to the mall because
What time?
like around like 4.
A.M.?
No.
Nah,
PM.
Oh, I thought you were an early morning shopper.
No.
that's what Alison is.
Oh.
She braves the crowds.
No, that's not me.
Get
at
anything
all.
good?
No. I'm not a big shopper in general. It's just because I think a couple of Robin's aunts and cousins are in town, so we all kind of went out and did some shopping. But I got a sweater
Oh,
that
okay.
wasn't even on sale. So, you know.
Fair enough. I mean, I personally despise Black Friday. I mean, just because I think it brings out the worst in Americans. I really do.
That's why they're all shopping on Thursday. Only the good people shop on Friday now. All the crazies go out Thursday
But-
for Thanksgiving Day shopping.
If you're
which is
shopping
not
on Thanksgiving,
Black Friday.
if you're shopping on Thanksgiving night, you're part of the problem. I mean, Kim was supposed to go in on Thanksgiving night, but
Good thing she got out of it.
yeah, I mean, she requested to go in at 4, and she did. She managed to get that. So, but originally she was like throwing a fit because she's going to have to go in at like 7:00 on Thanksgiving night. She's got to cut her dinner short with her family, you know, to go in for fucking work at Kohl's.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't care. I'm calling out Kohl's. Fuck you, Kohl's. You don't have to, you know, go that route that Target and Walmart and Kmart is going. Wasn't
Yes.
Kmart open all
Kmart was open all
day Thanksgiving?
They closed from like 5 to 7.
That is
And then they were
ridiculous.
open
Ridiculous.
till like 10 p.m. the next
Now,
night.
Yeah.
granted, apparently, and this may be wrong, but I heard they were paying their employees double time and it wasn't mandatory. It was
They might have asked for
you
volunteers.
volunteered for it. If that's the case, I mean, I'm not condoning it, but they're not forcing their employees to do it. What
Yeah.
I hate is like with Walmart and
You
Target
are
and Kohl's,
going to work. Not,
where they're
do you want to work?
Yeah, telling their employees on Thanksgiving night you have to come to work. It's not voluntary. You have to come in. That's a load of crap. You should not have to make your employees work on Thanksgiving night or any point Thanksgiving. It should be voluntary. And if they want to come in, by all means, let them come in.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. At my sister and I went to Bed Bath and Beyond when they opened up here, and
Price's
The-
Corner.
yeah, Price's
Okay.
Corner, because we were going to like Walmart, and then we're heading over to like Boscov's, Joann's, and Bed Bath.
You hit a
and
lot of
Beyond.
places.
Well, we started at J.C. Penney's at 3. Let's see, we left the house. We were at Penny's around 3:15.
Okay.
Then we hit Kohl's. We spent like almost 2.5 hours, 3 hours in Kohl's.
Jeez.
God. But we are shopping. It is active shopping.
Wow. Now, I'll say this. I stopped by to see Kim on Black Friday. Just 'cause
Oh my goodness.
Oh, man. Well, I stopped in just to see her around like 11:30 or noon on
I
that
should have
day.
told you to bring her a donut. Should've.
Well, because Alison stopped by to see Kim on
I
Black
did.
Friday morning. And
For the past
2 years. Yeah. She
prior to this year, I've stopped by and I've brought her a donut.
Right.
I think one year I might have brought her a coffee.
You brought her
last
coffee
year.
too, and then
Last
I
year.
brought her a coffee as well. So she had
Yeah.
2 coffees that morning. Yeah.
Yeah, so I brought
So
her a donut.
by the end of the day, she's just go no no.
So like a couple
Coffee!
days before, I asked Kim, "What kind of donut do you want?" And she told me what kind of donut she wanted. I was like, "If they don't have it, what's your second choice?" So I was all prepared, and Mike texted me later. He was like, "Oh yeah, Kim's going in at 4." I was like, "Oh, don't worry, I already know what donut she wants." And he's like, "Oh, so you guys talked?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's already covered." So we go to Dunkin' Donuts, and I'm calling out Dunkin' Donuts for this. Totally calling you out, Dunkin' Donuts, Kirkwood Highway, 24 hours open my foot. We go in, there's no donuts. This is
Dunkin'
not
Donuts
Dunkin' Coffee
ran out
This is
of
Dunkin'
donuts.
Donuts. They're like,
Oh no.
it's like 3 o'clock. Or like 3,
I'm sorry. That's like
We're like,
Burger King running out of burgers.
Yeah.
I know. That's like National Tire and Battery running out of tires and batteries.
And they're like-
that doesn't make sense. You sell donuts.
I
How do
know.
you not have any donuts?
Right? And they're like, well, we'll have some within the next 3 hours. Excuse me? The next 3 hours?
That is such crap. That is such crap. It's Black Friday. They should have prepared for a massive influx of people trying to get in there.
Black Friday, my sister and I have been going to that same Dunkin' Donuts. Do you know where we get our donuts from every Black Friday? That Dunkin' Donuts. Why? Because they're 24/7 and they always have donuts.
My God. Even if they didn't have a wide selection, they should have something there. I don't even care if it's just the regular bland ones that you dunk into your coffee. They should have something, but to have nothing,
Nothing. No
That's
donuts, no
that's
bagels.
abysmal.
They had coffee and hot cocoa
that's it.
and lattes and whatever.
Oh my God. That's
I
ridiculous.
was very disappointed.
That is absolutely ridiculous.
And I felt terrible telling Kim that. I was like, they didn't have any donuts.
And she says, "You have destroyed my morning."
It destroyed my morning.
That's a shame.
And then it destroyed my
Unbelievable.
Yeah, we did a lot of curtain shopping. My sister bought tons of curtains. Oh my goodness.
But I will say this: when I stopped by to see Kim at Kohl's, I had walked in and I saw the line. The line was an hour and a half long.
Oh my
What time
goodness.
did you go see her?
At right around noon. The line
Oh, noon. Yeah.
the line inside Kohl's started at the registers and wrapped 3/4 of a way around inside the building, in the aisleways.
Let me top you one better. 2 or 3 years ago, the line went from the registers. It went all the way around shoes. It went all the way back into where the seasonal stuff is.
To toys.
It went to the toys. It looped all the way up to front to the juniors. It looped all the way to the front door, and it started going up the center aisle between women's and
Oh
intimates.
my God.
Oh yeah.
Okay, now that was longer than I saw. Mine was right past toys and into juniors.
Okay, yeah, that's not too bad.
Okay.
No, when
I mean,
I
that was an
went-
hour and a half long.
That's crazy.
Unfriggin' believable. And I will swear to this. I've only ever bought one thing on Black Friday. Do you know what that is?
A TV.
No.
Batteries.
Batteries.
That's because he told me.
Cheater! Cheater!
A couple years ago, we went and saw our buddy Kemper, who was working at Best Buy at the time. I stopped in to see him, say hi, how things were going. And just on the rack there, I saw that they had Dynex batteries, 30 of them for $5. I said, okay, sure. I need batteries. I'm going to buy batteries. The only thing I've ever bought on Black Friday. I refuse to give in to this crap on Black Friday.
Awesome.
And, I think this year so far there's been 3 confirmed deaths on Black Friday.
That's it.
There was a Kohl's in Chicago.
Trampled?
No. A guy was... It actually wasn't a shopper.
Stabbed?
Yeah.
I heard there was a stabbing somewhere.
I think it was
for, like,
there.
a parking spot or something.
Really?
No. Yeah, that happened, but that wasn't at this Kohl's.
Oh, okay.
A guy was walking out with something, and he was mugged in the parking lot.
Yeah, it was
and
TV, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then when the officer arrived, the officer was shot. I think is
Holy
what
crap.
happened.
That I
Yeah.
don't know about.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. I could be wrong on that. Again, I don't know all the details about it, but I'm pretty sure that was the one in the Coles in Chicago.
Okay.
Of course, it's in Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago's a mess right now. There's a lot of cities in the Midwest that are a mess. Like Detroit today or yesterday had their court case go through about bankruptcy.
Oh yeah, the whole city is
bankrupt. Well, that's pretty bad when your city has become bankrupt. And I don't know if you ever heard about the proposal, what they wanted to do with some of the abandoned buildings in Detroit.
What?
This was a great plan, and I think it would be so freaking cool if they did this. So I think about a fifth to a quarter of some of the blocks in Detroit are just abandoned.
Yeah, because all the businesses went under.
Yeah, I think about 20 years ago, the population of Detroit was about 2 million. It's now down to about 800,000.
Oh, wow.
So you have to think of how many abandoned buildings there are now. And they can't afford to demolish them because there's no money. Some guy came up to the city and proposed that he would buy all of the land in these abandoned areas, the buildings and all. And he would buy them at a premium. And what he would do is turn it into the first zombie theme park.
Oh my goodness.
You could go into this area that'd be cordoned off from the rest of Detroit. You could go in and there would be actors dressed like zombies, and you could go in with paintball guns and defend yourself over like a 72-hour period. You could go in, you could hunker down in buildings, build barricades, do whatever you want for 72 hours, and try and survive the zombie apocalypse.
That's crazy awesome.
I would love to do that. And think about the tourism. Think about the tourism that Detroit would get from this.
Yeah.
Dude,
So many people would flock to do this. It would be so much fun. But no, it fell through. Detroit didn't want that stigma on their city. That, we're the city that has so many abandoned buildings it looks like the zombie apocalypse. But you're not doing anything else with them.
But
why the hell
about
not?
all that money you'd bring into the city.
Exactly. I mean, I know zombies are still a niche not everyone buys into, but hell, I'd visit that once a year. I would love to do that.
Be like, dude, zombie paintball this weekend? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get a group. Let's go up.
Damn the price.
Detroit.
I don't care how much it is. I would love to do that.
You get people from all over the world.
Oh my God, how many people? Yeah, exactly. That'd be an international. I mean, zombies are an international field. You don't have to speak English to fear zombies. Everyone would love to
Who
do
needs
that.
to speak English to kill zombies?
Exactly.
Nobody.
How fun would that be to run into like 10 other survivors and none of them speak your language, but you guys just
That would be
rallied?
so
You would
cool.
rally
Oh my
together
gosh.
to fight the zombie. No, just hand motions.
That
Holy
would be
God.
amazing.
Okay,
Oh my god.
We need to make that movie. The movie where no one speaks their language.
Yes.
And they all just fight the zombies
Yes.
together. Holy crap. Okay,
Silent
none of you
movie.
listening to this, none of you steal that damn idea. We're making that.
It's now patented. The projectionist has spoken.
Yes. But anyway, those plans fell through, sadly. But now the city's bankrupt, and they're probably saying, damn, we should have taken up that
Yeah.
idea. You know?
Totally should have taken that up. Oh, no, wait. Then they're going to get a federal bailout.
Everyone's getting a bailout.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you guys don't want to chat about anything else, we're going to get into a little bit of movie news. Movie news? Wow. Movie news. A little bit of it is actually not really movie news, but it's something I wanted to bring up just because it's funny. But here's what we've got so far. And this one is a bit upsetting for me, but you guys can take it if you will. Take it however you want. But it has been confirmed that I believe it is Universal Studio. Yeah, Universal Pictures has purchased the rights to Cats.
The
make a movie?
Broadway show?
Yes, the Broadway show, the musical. So it's going to get the Les Miserables treatment. They're going to make a full motion picture off of Cats. Yeah, and Karen's expression is basically how I feel inside. Have either of you seen Cats?
No, actually.
Good. That's all I can say is good.
It's just,
I have very choice words for Cats. Now here's the thing. I am not a musical expert. I'm not an expert on theater, but I like to think I've seen a decent amount of live performances in my lifetime, either on or off Broadway. I mean, I've seen Phantom of the Opera live. I've seen Beauty and the Beast live. I've seen Chicago live, and all great shows. Cats was the only one where I walked out saying, I don't know what the rave is about. I don't understand why this is getting such good reviews.
what is it about anyways?
What is Cats about? It's about cats.
Okay, so, like, I wasn't just remembering wrong.
No.
Okay.
There is a plot,
It's like,
but
it's just about cats, and people are just dressed as cats, and they're
And they sing
doing cat
memory.
things.
Yeah, and it's
That's all I
it's
know.
really just them talking about how great it is to be a cat. It's like everybody wants to be a cat, you know.
Memory.
Oh yeah, that song. Friggin'
I'm good at cat sounds. Meow.
Meow plankton. But and this is how it was explained to me by our band director, Miss Cassidy. Back when I was in middle school, was the only time I'd seen cats. I went with my band in middle school with Skyline, and our band director, Miss Falcone, loved cats. She adored it, probably because she was secretly a cat lady. But I digress.
Crazy cat lady.
Yeah, Alison knows who Miss Falcone was.
Yeah, she had sequins on her baton.
Yeah, she was a very, very
She
flashy
had
lady.
Don't get colored baton sequences.
Yeah, don't get me
It
wrong.
would coordinate with her outfit of the day.
She was a great director, and she taught us a lot. But she was very, very flamboyant. Would be a good word. Flamboyant is the best word. But she took us to New York to see Cats. She loved it. The rest of the band loved it. I said, "What the hell is the big deal?" I didn't care. I wasn't that entertained. Now the choreography was great.
Right.
The makeup was great. But the music was generic. The
Who wrote Cats?
Andrew Lloyd Webber,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
which is why a lot of people say he's the worst thing to happen in musical theater because he wrote Cats.
Not Mr. Sheffield.
No,
He passed on Cats, remember? Oh,
The
you
Nanny.
didn't watch The Nanny, did you?
Did you ever watch The
No.
Nanny? Yeah.
No.
I know what you're talking about. I wasn't even a fan of The Nanny, but just because I can't stand Fran Drescher.
Yeah, Nate hates her too. He's like, 10 minutes, I'm done.
Oh.
There he is.
Hey!
We have
Hey.
a fourth.
And Robin just walked in. How you doing, Robin?
He's being a ninja.
Yeah, grab that mic and sit down. You bugger had to go buy light bulbs.
Way to be a responsible adult.
I am a responsible adult.
By the way, you're doing a live mic check right now because I didn't test that mic. So way to go.
Check. 1, 2.
Checking the mic.
Check.
Checking the mic.
Mic, check.
Actually,
check. 1,
Robin,
2.
before
Mic.
you sit down, can you do me a favor? 1, get yourself a drink. And 2, can you grab my phone out of my room?
Piss off.
Thanks.
But I will grab your phone out of your room. No.
Thank you. Just set that back down. Thank you. But I remember when we got to Dickinson, I went up to Miss Cass and I said, "Look, I feel like I'm the only one in the world who doesn't like cats." And she said, "Don't worry, Mike. It only means that you're sane." And I said, "Okay, why is that?" She said, "You have to understand that the only reason that Cats has survived so long is that it is the musical that everyone sees in New York when they're foreigners visiting America." And I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "You can speak any language and understand Cats because the plot is so generic, the plot is so straightforward, and it's so bland that you can understand it in any language. And so when people come to New York from another country who have never seen a musical before, everyone always tells them, go see Cats because you'll understand it even if you don't speak English."
Interesting.
And I was like, that is a great theory of how it ran so long. I mean, the thing ran for 14, 15 years, maybe longer than that. It was the second longest running show on Broadway, I believe.
Who beat it?
What's that?
Who beat it?
Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, well,
And
yeah.
Phantom of the Opera is still running, I believe.
Yeah,
I think
still
that's
gotta
at
get to see
10,000
that.
shows straight. It's like, and the next closest to that, I think, is Chicago, which is still running. But that's behind Cats, so.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
like the
they've...
movie Chicago. I did want to see Chicago and Phantom of the Opera.
Well, Phantom of the Opera is still great, but do not see the sequel.
There's a
There's a
sequel.
sequel?
There is a sequel to Phantom of the Opera. I think it's
No.
called...
Wait, you mean a movie sequel?
No. It's a theater sequel.
Huh.
And I believe it's called Love Never Dies. And, I mean, I'm not going to play spoilers in case you do see it, but
No, I'm not gonna
it's
see it.
gotten really, really bad reviews. So, which is that, Robin? What did you grab?
He forgot his mic.
Oh, I didn't know that was in there.
Yeah. Those,
And the fiance took it.
are those okay?
She took it.
Does it seem off?
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna warn you about those. I got those in a pack, and for some reason, I think those were the only ones that weren't good in the pack.
What do you mean good?
You try it. You tell me. It seems like all the rest in the pack were great because, by the way, Robin is raw drinking a woodchuck, but it's a woodchuck spring. Now I got those about a month ago.
Does it have like a mineral water in it?
No. But all the rest in the pack tasted great. But I had one of those, and it tasted like they had left the springs out for a while or something. So I don't know if it went bad or
it tastes kind of funny.
it tastes a little funky. Yeah.
It does.
It might have like some quinine. Isn't that the mineral water stuff in it?
And Robin's face speaks volumes.
Wait, let me see.
Okay, yeah. It went bad or something.
Yeah.
And it's not quinine because I have quinine in gin, and it tastes fine.
There's like this really weird.
It's like a funk to it, right?
Yeah, like kind of like a
It's vinegar.
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 It tastes kind of like apple cider vinegar at the very.
Well, you can go ahead and chuck that, Robin. You can have anything else in there
You can
besides
chuck the woodchuck.
besides the woodchuck. Any other woodchuck that's in there is great, just not the spring woodchucks. Okay. So anyway, yeah. So we digress. Anyway, Andrew Lloyd Webber has confirmed that Universal has picked up Cats and that they're going to be making a obviously motion picture of it. My only thought is, if it wasn't good to begin with, it's not going to translate well to screen. What else can you say besides people in cat makeup dancing around for 2 hours? And I know, and I'm sure I'm going to get people commenting on this saying, "Oh my God, you're hating on Cats. It's so good." If you like Cats, that's fine.
That is your opinion. You're welcome to
and
have
you're
it.
welcome to it. All I'm saying is I need more than just girls in spandex dancing around for 2 hours. Wait a minute. Why do I hate this?
Shouldn't have giggled out loud like that. I can't imagine it translating well to screen.
It can't. It just can't.
Like
So
I
would
think
it be like actual cats, or still people pretending to be cats?
yeah, it would be
great.
kind of awesome if it was like cats.
That would basically just be Lolcats the movie.
I'd watch that. I think
I
that
Ken
would be
has
good.
musical.
That would be good.
What did you grab, Robin? Shock Top Pumpkin? Good. Do you like it?
Yes.
Much better than the spring. And how about you grab a mic as well? Not her mic.
Oh, wrong mic.
You can grab that mic.
Not my mic. Got the other. Not Mike. No! Stop it. So anyway, do you
grabbed
guys have
Mike's
any?
booth.
So, Robin, have you seen? Wait a minute. You were in Skyline Band. Did you go and see Cats with us?
No.
You didn't go and see Cats in New York?
No.
Oh.
he doesn't like musicals, which makes me really sad because I love musicals.
I like musicals for the most part.
yeah.
Well,
There
I
are
feel
few
ya.
that I haven't
know,
liked.
Nate is like anti-musical.
We should
Aw.
go see a musical. We can just leave him at home.
But I mean, I'll give it a shot. Maybe they'll do something different. I mean, I don't know how much more they could do different
Wait
with the
till
movie.
the trailer comes out.
Yeah, we'll
then
wait for a
decide.
trailer, and then we'll
Yeah.
do a review of the trailer, and we'll
Yeah.
see what the hell is going to happen to this movie.
Trailers to come.
Yeah, trailer to come.
But yeah.
But moving on from that. Oh yes, Karen, what do you have?
Sorry, before we move on to the next thing, I just wanted to say that I'm really sad because since we're talking about musicals, I'm really sad that tomorrow I'm probably gonna have to miss the they're doing NBC's doing like a special, the Sound of Music special.
Oh, that's
Yeah, with
right.
Carrie
They're
Underwood
doing a
and stuff.
Scrooged on that. Do you know what I mean by a Scrooged?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Have you ever seen Bill Murray's Scrooged?
Yes.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Do you know how in Bill Murray's Scrooged they did the live performance of A Christmas Carol?
Yes.
That's what they're doing for Sound of Music.
Oh.
They're doing
When?
it live.
Tomorrow.
What
Yeah.
time?
Can't remember for the life of me. Probably like 7 or 8 or
PM?
Lame.
yeah, I think so.
Ooh, then I might be able to see it.
I really want to see it. Sound of Music is like my
Look,
favorite.
don't get me
movie
wrong.
ever.
I love the Sound of Music. I just don't want to see Carrie Underwood in the Sound of
As
Music.
Maria?
Yeah, I don't want to see her as Maria.
I don't mind her. She's got an amazing voice.
I don't know. Maybe it's because she's Tony Romo's second helpings. I don't know, but
Who's Tony Romo?
football player. Sorry.
Exactly.
Football. Boom.
You get a bro fist for that one, Robin.
Robin 1, Tony Romo 0.
Real nice. I might watch it. I love the Sound of Music. I don't know who the rest of the cast is. All they're talking about is
Queen
Carrie
Latifah's
Underwood.
in it.
Who?
Queen Latifah
As who?
as
She a nun?
The
Is she one of the
mother, the not the mother,
Reverend
the,
Mother?
Reverend Mother.
Interesting.
She's a good singer.
I think it's Queen Latifah, and then Christian
How many
Borle,
black
isn't
Reverend
it?
mothers were there in Germany?
It don't matter.
I know. I'm joking.
This is modern
Yeah.
day
And then
musical.
yeah, Christian Borle, isn't it? I think that's how you say his name. He was in Smash, the
Okay.
TV show,
Never saw that.
which is also an amazing TV show, and which got canceled, and I'm sad about. Yeah, and I can't remember who's playing Captain Von Trapp though, or Elsa, but yeah.
I don't know. I might see it. I don't know. But
I mean, of course, nothing is going to ever compare to Julie Andrews because
No.
Julie Andrews is, Julie Andrews.
Julie Andrews is
I love
freaking.
her.
I mean, to this day, she is still doing work, and she's doing great
She's
work.
amazing.
She is. And you know what? I'll admit this, and you can chalk up my man card for this. But when I worked at the movie theater, I was forced to watch, what is it, The Princess Diaries?
Yes.
And she was the only good part in that entire film. I hated the rest, but when Julie Andrews is on screen, she's captivating. She's a great actress, no matter what she's doing. She could be
gotta love
doing crap, and she's
She
still
would
great
be
in it.
amazing,
You
I
know?
know. There are, she is one of those actresses.
And Robin is staring me down.
She's amazing. I love her. I
But
think she's like my favorite actress ever.
But moving on, another little bit of news, which is I don't know. Has anyone here purchased Grand Theft Auto 5?
Ben's finished it.
Has he?
Yeah.
Okay. I think he'd be the only one who would really react to this. But the news that came out of Hollywood today is that Lindsay Lohan is suing Rockstar Games.
I just thought we should give a reaction.
Oh.
But
Because
why?
well, here's the deal. I'll show you guys.
Was there a character that looked like her?
Yeah.
A redheaded slut whore?
No. I'm going to
On
show you guys
crack?
the picture. Hold around. I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to show you this picture, and Lindsay Lohan thinks this looks like her. Okay?
No.
No. Here's the thing.
No.
No.
That character may look like a lot of celebrities, but it does not look like Lindsay Lohan. Because you know why?
Lindsay
She doesn't
Lohan.
have crack circles under her eyes.
If anything, I'd say it sort of looks like an Angelina Jolie from over
Kind of.
here. But then I also
looks
see
like-
some
Wait,
Charisse Theron in there.
With a little Cameron Diaz, maybe?
Yeah,
Well, I
Cameron
kind of see
Diaz?
what's that girl that does the Cat Daddy?
Oh, Kate Upton.
Yeah, Kate. It looks like Kate.
It looks
Upton
like
from
Kate
here.
Upton.
Upton.
Yeah, that's a good comparison right there, Robin. Good job.
So yeah, that's
Exactly.
like 5 actresses we
Yeah,
see.
That's-
over Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For sure.
Who's Lindsay Lohan?
exactly.
Oh.
Robin 2.
But
Lindsay and Tony 0.
it has been reported that she is now suing the Rockstar Games, the developer of the video game,
Because
because
nothing better to do.
they let's see, I'm trying to find the quote here that her lawyers have given us.
Oh God.
That
Good.
let's see, that the GTA 5 box art features a woman holding a cell phone who somewhat, their words, somewhat resembles Lohan. I'm sorry, this isn't like The Last of Us, where they pretty much copy and pasted Ellen Page image for that character. In fact, the character was called Ellie. You know, that's pretty blatant.
Yeah.
And I think Ellen Page had a case for that. But this could be anyone.
I think it somewhat looks like Alison. I mean, like, if you're going to make that comparison. Like,
You
it's-
know what? I could
Right?
say if you were to make that face, you would never do a selfie.
Yeah, that's a selfie. Here's the last
Hey, there she is. You
one.
didn't
She
text
survived
me.
volleyball. Woo.
Girl, your house is so bright.
I know, right? You come down the street and it's like, holy crap.
Yeah, I
They're
turned
like the only
onto it and
people
I'm like,
Christmas
oh
stuff.
jeez.
We're festive, okay? That's
Yeah.
Yo, super festive.
So she's back from her volleyball game. How'd you guys do?
we lost all.
Okay, let's not talk about that.
Oh, that's a shame. All right,
We
well,
were
grab
talking about
yourself
Lindsay
a chair.
Lohan.
Oh, great.
Grab yourself a chair. Grab yourself a drink. But look, she doesn't have a case on this, and you know the reason why she's suing? One, she's broke because she spent it all on her drugs. I don't even care.
And lawyers to keep
two,
her out of jail.
because this movie is making so much freaking money.
That's supposed to be her.
Yeah, that's supposed to be her. Yeah, that's what we were just saying.
Okay, who do you think it looks like?
Robin said it looked like Kate Upton,
Wait.
Let's see who she sees.
I don't know. Just a generic.
a generic
girl.
woman. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
It doesn't
okay.
look like anyone. It could
We
be any
named a
number.
few of them.
I mean, she said Angelina Jolie, and I think it kind of looks like Angelina Jolie a little bit.
I said,
You gotta look at just
And the
face
facial
and the
features, yeah.
lips.
I said Cameron Diaz.
Yeah, and
A
then
little
we said
bit.
like Cameron Diaz,
Okay.
Charlize
Charlize
Theron.
Yeah. It's an amalgam of all of them. It's just a generic blonde. But yet, no. Lindsay Lohan says, no, that's me.
you on
No,
crack, chick?
bullshit.
Yes, she is on crack.
Oh, right, yeah. I'm sorry.
But the second reason is this game is making bank. It made $1 billion in the first 3 days.
Wow.
Think about that.
Gosh.
$1 billion in 3 days. So everyone in Hollywood is trying to get a piece of this thing. Even if it means, oh, now we have to sue them in order to get a little bit of money. Lindsay Lohan says, oh, that's me. I'm going to sue the company. Go fuck yourself, bitch.
Yeah.
It bothers me so much when they just...
I miss Parent Trap Lindsay.
I know, but she was cute.
I know.
And like precious and just like
Drug free.
You know,
normal and drug free.
that's actually a great joke that someone told online. It was, what was the last movie she was normal in?
The Parent Trap.
I think you can make a contention that was the Herbie remake. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. Or it wasn't a remake. It was a sequel of some sort.
Yeah.
I never saw Mean Girls all the
Oh,
way through.
Mean Girls. Yeah, she was
good.
normal.
Yeah,
then.
she was.
Yeah.
I mean, she did, was homeschooled
She did
by her
mean girl-thy
parents, who,
things.
Yeah.
was from Africa or something. So
Yeah, but that was before all the drugs and stuff. I think
Yeah.
actually hit her.
But one final story before we get into the trailers, and this is one I'm excited about, but I'm also a little bit dreading.
Is it the Wonder Woman one?
No, it's not Wonder Woman.
We don't have that in there.
No, we can
That's
talk about
coming.
that because I mentioned this to Kim. That's not confirmed yet.
Okay.
All the websites are saying it's confirmed. It's not.
Okay, good.
WB and CW have not confirmed that.
Wait,
or not
no,
not
no.
CW. Sorry, WB and DC.
Okay.
Sorry, not
Okay.
CW. Sorry. Because CW is actually doing an Amazon series, but that's completely
Yeah,
unrelated.
I heard about that.
Yeah. But no. DC Comics, DC Studios, and WB have not confirmed that.
Okay.
They've interviewed that girl, but I don't think it's been officially cast. So
Okay.
we're going to hold off on actually talking about that.
Okay, okay.
Next time we're here, if it's confirmed, I'm sure Paul will rant and rave about it.
Okay.
But,
Don't
I mean,
worry.
we can discuss that girl real quick because
Oh,
Kim and I were saying that girl, she has no meat on her. She's like a twig. She's too bony. She is
She's
not a good Wonder
She's
Woman.
not Princess Diana.
No. I mean, the original person we thought they were interviewing, which was Jamie Alexander, Sif from Thor.
Oh,
She's a little short, but she's got build to her. She's got muscle mass. She looks like she could kick a guy's ass.
They were saying also like Jessica Biel.
That would be interesting, although I don't know. I think
she's got the build for it.
she does have the build for it. Yeah,
I
You
think
do have
so.
to be a little bit thick stock to be Wonder Woman.
you do.
Because you got to be an Amazon. She's an
Yeah,
Amazon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You've got to be built. This girl looks like she'd be about 90 pounds soaking wet. She's not going to be a good woman. So she has to either start packing on the muscle right now, or they're going to have to recast her because she doesn't look like Wonder Woman. I mean, unless they CG her ass and give her muscles, I don't know.
Post-production.
But then that just makes me sad because I'm sure there are actresses out there who could, who would be
Yeah.
better cast
Now,
for the role without.
Yeah. Now, I don't know what this woman's repertoire is. I mean, she may have gone
I've
and done
heard, like, is she a model or something? Like,
I don't know.
I can't.
I mean,
remember.
she may have given a great audition for all we know. We don't know. She may have been great for the part, and Christopher Nolan really wanted her. But like we've said before, Christopher Nolan is really odd with his casting.
So we need to give him the.
We need to
benefit
give
of
him the
doubt.
benefit of the doubt for now, but we'll see. I mean, hell, is this any worse than Ben Affleck as Batman? I mean, I don't know, but Affleck.
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 But the final story we're going to get into is that CBS Films has purchased the rights to the Scary Story series. Now, do any of you know what the Scary Stories are?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
I have the books.
I have the books. We'll fill you guys in on this.
Nerds.
And we'll show you some of the images in a bit.
Okay.
But the original book series, there was 3 books, and it was called Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
And let me
these,
tell you, as a kid, they were very scary.
they were freaky as hell.
Who are they
I mean,
by?
The author was let's see
I
here.
forget the author.
Well, I think it was multiple authors because it was just a bunch of short stories. But it was Alvin Schwartz who I believe wrote the majority of them.
Okay.
But there are a bunch of different short stories that were in these collection of books. And the stories themselves were creepy. Now, on the opposite side of that, you had something like Goosebumps, but that was more kiddie.
I was even scared of those.
Yeah, but
And then you got into the Oral Steins, which
Yeah,
was
Oral
like
Stein,
the
but-
Goosebumps
And
adult
then-
series.
on the yes,
Teenage ones.
on the other side of that, you had much stuff that was a bit darker and much more macabre, which was the Scary Story series.
Okay.
Now, what made it really freaky wasn't just the stories; it was the illustrations. These illustrations were some of the creepiest things you'd ever want to show a kid. Stuff that no kid should ever have to look at.
But
But
it
it
made,
made the
story.
stories because the illustrations were fantastic. Now, I'm going to pause real quick because I'm going to do a quick Google search for scary stories. I'm going to show you guys a few of these images. Now, Robin, you've never seen these before either, right?
I
No.
remember one where they talked about a hitchhiker. Then this lady was freaking out because this guy was following her. He kept turning on his high beams all the time, and she was really freaked out. So she finally ended up getting home, running to her house. The guy who kept turning on his high beams was like, "There was a guy in your back seat, and every time he would get up with a knife, I would turn on my high beams, and he would hide in your back. He would go back down in the back seat." And I was like, "Oh my god, that guy like saved her life from like the crazy man in the back seat."
Okay.
So for a while, seriously, I would like look
Oh my
in,
god.
in the back seat.
Now,
It would, despite me
scares
not
me,
even
yeah.
driving.
And again, these
Like,
were children's
who else-
tales, okay?
I'm getting. I know, like you just look.
This is why every time before I get into my car, I shoot the back seat.
Just a warning shot, right?
So,
Oh no! It's
here,
Shoot to kill.
here are some of the images.
You telling the story made
I
me
remember
like,
those.
Yes.
I remember that story. Oh God,
I remember
this
that.
one.
The
This
s-
is the cover story.
Yes, that one. I remember the second one
And
too.
this
That
Okay,
one-
it's a touch
Oh.
screen. You can hit them and it'll move them. Yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
oh!
Oh my God, I remember this one too.
Which one?
Oh,
Push
this
it.
one.
Push it.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
yeah, that.
It's a
that
touchscreen.
was
Oh God.
Oh, that one.
Oh, this one.
That one.
Oh,
right
this
there.
one
Okay,
was like
and
the
I can't, our
howling
viewers
Yeah.
don't know what we're looking
Oh
at.
my
and
goodness.
this one.
I'll
This
link
was-
you guys some of the images to Scary Story
that
Pictures
one.
if you have no idea what these are. But yeah, these are very, very black and white, freaky pictures. And it's,
I remember those.
yeah, for kids,
Yeah,
this
right?
is scary as shit.
Yeah.
Like the woman with no eyes and the drippy
Remember
face.
this one?
Yeah.
With the,
It's so
oh, and the
freaky.
cat.
Oh, that's right, the one with the spiders.
Yeah, oh my god.
Spiders
The
coming
spider.
out.
Oh my god.
It's like a swarm.
Oh, that
Where?
one was so
Oh,
freaky.
Where?
That
I want
one-
to see it.
Yeah, is that one on there? It has to be on there.
It was. It was.
Oh, that.
This one.
Ew.
Uh huh.
Yeah,
Ew.
Robin is petrified of spiders. Yeah. And
Oh,
for
God,
people who don't know what we're looking at, there was
toe.
one where a
It's like,
woman.
Where is my toe?
Oh yeah, some woman finds a toe and cooks it in a soup, and then the owner of the toe comes back to fetch his toe and to kill the woman because he took her toe or took his toe.
Yeah. And of course, we had them in books, but we also had this tape.
Yo, yeah.
So you could listen
those
to
tapes
them being
oh,
read
those
to
are
you.
freaky.
What was it?
We no yeah,
Yeah.
At libraries they had those tapes in the
Yeah, you
libraries.
could get
yeah.
the tape in the book.
Oh
we
man.
We had a in my elementary school, the librarian. We would all have like for whatever reason, like we had a class in the library,
Oh yeah,
and-
I remember that.
Yeah,
and
we
it-
all
and,
had that.
and around
Yeah.
like
Yeah, we all
yeah,
had those.
and
I know it's weird, right?
it is. Well, it's Delaware,
do that.
whatever.
No,
But
it's a good idea.
It is. They had story time pretty much. The librarian would pick a story, and then like we would all like be in this room, and she'll read it. But it was around Halloween, and we had those tapes, and she would bring out a candle, and we would listen to this in the dark.
Oh, that is
Oh,
great.
man.
That is great, dude. I wish I had her.
And-
That would have been
oh
great.
my gosh!
Oh,
I remember her name. She was
man.
her name was Mrs. Rosemary, and she looked creepy too, but which made it even worse. Sorry, Miss Rosemary. But she was the nicest lady ever, nicest librarian ever. But she would read those stories, and I specifically remember that.
Dude, now I want to see if I can find it. I think it's on the bookshelf in my basement.
I have
Yeah.
them somewhere
We
in
should
my
have-
house.
we
I
should have
would
a
not have
story
gotten
night.
rid of those.
I'd be so
story
freaked
time.
out.
man.
Oh my gosh.
Here's the story, but so of course we digress again.
No, we never do that.
It's all about the same thing,
Yeah.
but CBS Films
Think
has
of that
purchased the
part.
rights to this series, and they plan to make. I don't know if they plan to make several short films or a film storing several short stories in it. Either way, I would enjoy it because these stories again are pretty freaky.
If the imagery is similar to what
And
the
yeah-
imagery is in the book,
And we're gonna
so
get
it's
into
kinda
that.
dark and creepy, but
Yeah, we're gonna get into that in a second.
I mean,
Now,
if you did it animated with that style
oh
to
man,
it,
that
my
would be
God.
fantastic.
Yeah.
It'd be like Mirror Mask. Like Mirror, I don't know if anybody see Mirror Mask?
No,
It's a very abstract movie. The book made a whole lot more sense because you're so distracted by everything in the movie.
Mhm.
But I was like, what the hell's going on in this movie? Like, I read the book and I know what's going on. I'm like, oh, it's just the images the imagery is just so the animation job is abstract. It's off the wall crazy.
Interesting. I'll have to look into that. But before we actually get into what is upsetting me about this story, the screenwriters are actually from the Saw series, which doesn't excite me too much. But it's
Oh, so
Marcus
it's gonna be
Dunstan
very
and the other gentleman is Patrick Milton. I really don't know any other of their work, but they do have screenwriters for it. But here's what scares me about it. For the 30th anniversary of this series, they re-released all the books with different illustrations.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Not only that, the CBS series is going to be based off the 30th anniversary edition.
Boo!
Exactly my thought.
Boo!
If you were to make a series based off these illustrations, it would be creepy as hell.
Especially like black and white anime.
Oh my
or
god,
like
it would be so
even
freaky.
what is it? Claymation?
Oh, stop motion.
Stop motion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be really cool too. That would be great. It's like, yeah, something like Paranorman. Black and white Paranorman. Holy crap, that would be so creepy. Yeah. But no, they're going to go the new animation route, the new drawings. And
needs to be rough
I
and
pray,
gruff.
and again, they haven't started production on this yet. They have plenty of time to change this, and all I can say to them is, look, those original drawings affected an entire generation of kids.
Everybody knows. those
Everyone
drawings.
knows that illustrations, those that imagery. Please use that imagery. It's so creepy, and it would be so fantastic to see that on the big screen. So again, I'm excited about this, but they could easily botch this.
Is there images of the 30th edition one?
I can try and look those up real quick. Yeah,
You could
let's
say
I kinda wanna
30th
see if what-
edition.
How they compare?
yeah, let's see. Hold on one second. Okay, so I'll show this to Kim first.
And then whip it around.
That looks absolutely nothing like the other one.
No.
That's awful. That's not.
It looks like it looks like something like black and white out of
Show
Harry
us, show
Potter.
us.
So you go ahead and take a look at that.
It does look like the Harry Potter.
Illustrate,
covers.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
What?
that's not. No.
No.
Lame.
The
Right.
left one is correct. The
Yeah.
right one is not.
Right.
No. It's no.
Right.
No.
Exactly what I'm thinking. That's
No.
not
You have-
good.
You
That
have
that's not good.
childized it.
Yeah. And here's another one. So the woman with no eyes has been turned into this.
What?
Well, that's
No.
Yeah.
That'll give you
No.
nightmares. I mean, it's semi creepy, but it
not in the same way.
looks like it's a traditional children's.
They've
Right.
really made
Yeah.
it into
Right.
a children's book versus like I'm gonna freaking scare your child
Right.
into doing or not doing something.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. But
If
yeah,
I find
so
a toe, I will not make a soup out of it because somebody's gonna come looking for that toe.
so anyway, that's where we stand on that, and that's the last of our movie news. So we're gonna get right into our trailers.
Let's get into these trailers.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
And the first one we've got is one that actually Alison sent to me, and it is Saving Mr. Banks.
Now, let us begin.
She has a lot of ideas.
What kind of ideas?
Constable's responsible. Now, how does that sound? No. Responsible is not a word.
We made it up.
Well, unmake it up.
She won't approve Dick Van Dyke.
No.
The Mantis house doesn't look like that. No, it's all wrong.
It's all wrong?
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Stop! Mary Poppins is not for sale. I won't have her turned into one of your silly cartoons.
Says the woman who sent a flying nanny with a talking umbrella to save the children.
You think Mary Poppins has come to save the children? Oh, dear.
I'm looking forward to this. This
I
looks
think it looks
pretty
really
good.
cute.
I'm not.
What?
I'm not.
Why not?
He doesn't like Tom Hanks.
You don't like Tom
I
Hanks?
think he's over the top.
Un-American.
He is
Communist bastard! Everyone likes Tom Hanks. As American as hot dogs and apple pie. How could you? He's a national treasure.
Oh no, sweetie.
Actually, no. Nicolas Cage was.
I better
the
say that's
national
Nicolas
treasure.
Well played.
Robin 3, Mike, Tony, and Lindsay 0.
Real nice. I mean, I'll admit, I kind of scoffed at first when I heard that Tom Hanks was playing Walt Disney. At first I was like,
But he's kind of kooky enough to do it. Because I
True.
feel like Disney's supposed to be.
but then when I thought about it, and I stopped and thought about it, I'm like, well, who else in Hollywood could you get to be the, iconic Walt Disney? I mean, can you think of anyone else who would be good for that part at this moment in time? And I was like, I don't know if I could think of anyone else who could fill that role and look the part as well, Mm-hmm. So it was good casting. I'm glad they got him. But I have a feeling that it was kind of like with Book of Eli, where the director said the most expensive special effect in this film was Denzel Washington. I have a feeling the most expensive effect in saving Mr. Banks is Tom Hanks.
Yeah, and oh god, I can never remember her name.
Emma Thompson.
Emma Thompson.
Right.
She's amazing.
She's
Yeah,
very
she's
good.
good too.
Yeah.
I love her.
And I'm intrigued by this. I didn't know that there was a lot of strife that went into making Mary Poppins.
yeah.
No, I didn't realize
I
that
didn't
either.
either.
That was
No.
like, I mean, even though it's a pseudo documentary, I'm kind of curious.
Yeah. And again, I'm very intrigued because Mary Poppins is really a part of all of our childhoods. I'm assuming you guys watched Mary Poppins growing up. Robin, did you watch Mary Poppins growing up? Because you were an un-American bastard.
I'm un-American.
He doesn't like
mean-
musicals.
Oddly enough, because it's an
Yeah.
American tradition, even though it's kind of a British film. But
And Julie Andrews is in it, and she's amazing.
Yes, she is.
How un-American are you?
repeat that,
Dude, I think I own this too. I think I'm gonna be borrowing.
Oh,
letting
do I have
people
to
borrow
stand up,
movies.
say my name?
Yes. Stand up and admit your fault.
I have never seen Mary Poppins.
Oh,
Robert-
shame.
You heard it here, folks.
Robin 4, Mike, Kim, Tony, and Lindsay 0.
I've only ever seen it once, though.
It was strange.
How are you gonna get those penguins to dance? We're gonna animate them. No, this is not a little cartoon.
And it's interesting how they're going to go about this. I don't know if this is kind of Hollywoodized. I'm sure they're going to fictionalize some accounts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But if this is based around real people, I had no idea. Like, these were based around real life events of this writer. That's kind of interesting.
I never knew Mary Poppins was a book.
You never knew that?
No.
I've never read it, but yeah.
Like, Mary Poppins was a book. I'm like, I kind of feel like I have to find this book. But now I know everybody else is going to be trying to find this book, so I'm never going to find it.
Yeah.
No, this looks quite good. And again, the casting is great. And is it being made by? It is being made by Disney, right?
Yeah.
Is it Disney Studios?
I would assume.
I would think so.
If it's not, I think Walt Disney should sue.
No, I think it is because I think it had the castle at the beginning of the
Right,
trailer.
and they're shooting it at Disneyland, so I'm assuming
And I don't think they would relinquish the rights to anybody else to make a film about Walt Disney
Right.
to anybody else.
Yeah,
right,
that'd be dumb.
Very true.
Because that'd be really
So
weird.
again, yeah, it pretty much makes sense that it is from Disney. And since it is Disney, they're going to treat it right. But of course, they may fictionalize some accounts and basically make Walt Disney into Jesus.
Disney and Disneyland and Walt Disney.
Like
The Holy Trinity. Exactly.
the happiest place on earth, right?
Yeah. I do like at the end where he got her on the ride. It's like, yeah, I won $20.
I know.
That's
Yeah, that
pretty
was
good.
great.
She's like, whatever she said, he's like, no, I just bet somebody that I could get you on a ride. I just won $20.
That's good.
I like that.
Again, I'm looking forward to this. I'll definitely see it. And I'm conflicted. I don't know if we would call this Oscar bait. I think the performances will be good, but I don't think, because Tom Hanks is up for a lot. some people have said, oh, well, he'll be nominated for Captain Phillips, which we didn't see. But from what I heard, his performance was just Tom Hanks. He was just himself. Yeah. So I don't know if he's still trying to get that Oscar bait, if he's trying to get back in there, and maybe this performance will do it. I don't know. I don't know if Emma Thompson will be able to do it with his performance. I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see because, right around this time of year, we're getting those films that are hopefully going to be nominated.
Right.
They're all released in this time of year.
Yeah.
And this could be one of them. It depends on how good it's reviewed, how the performances are. It may even get mediocre reviews, but so long as the performances are good, it probably will get something. Because there hasn't really been a film about Walt Disney, other than, documentaries. I can't recall the last time that Walt Disney as a character was in a film other than, Fantasia or something,
Yeah.
So... And again, no one is really going to touch Walt Disney unless it is Disney or someone doing a documentary. So It'll be interesting to see what they do with this. But moving on, our next film we have is another one that Alison sent me, which is Seventh Son.
Our world is divided between light and darkness. You are the seventh son of a seventh son.
What exactly do we do?
Since the beginning of time, we have protected mankind.
Teach me.
I was very bored. Well, no. I got very distracted during one of the last times when I had to watch my homework to prepare for these. And let's just say an hour and a half later, I had watched many, many trailers. And I was like, Mike, we should do this. We should do this. We should do this. He was like, we already did some of these. I'm like, oh. He was like, but we can do some of the other ones. We didn't do those. I'm like, yay.
But this one, I'm very conflicted about. Alison, you sent this to me. I mean,
I did.
Are you looking forward to this? I mean, what drew you to this? Let me ask you that. What drew you to this? Was it just a random trailer that popped up and you watched it, or?
Yeah, it was just a random trailer. I was like, The Seventh Son. I was like, huh, all right, I'm fair game. Why not? So I watched it. And I was like, well, the kind of seems appealing. It's got some mystical, magical stuff in it, and well, okay, it's got some action in it, and ooh, there's my girl Clarice. Well,
Clarice.
Yeah.
Clarice, what are you talking about?
The evil witch chick? Julianne Moore. Hello,
Clarice. Oh, for God's sake. Okay, okay. I think Jodie Foster when I think Clarice.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry.
what I thought,
For
too.
Clarice.
Oh, no, they're right. I mean, she was Clarice
got
in
Julianne Moore
Hannibal
in
in the sequel.
Yeah.
She did play Clarice.
Oh, right.
Okay, yeah. Now, see, when I think Julianne Moore, I think more along the lines of, God, I'm spacing on movies she's done now. Holy crap.
See, the first thing I thought was Clarice.
I'm thinking 30 Rock.
that's a good one.
She was in the remake of Psycho.
Right.
She was in that movie with the blind people.
The kids are all right.
God, Blindness. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Blindness
she's in-
was interesting. I liked it, but it had very weird moments.
She was in The Kids Are All Right.
Right.
She's actually been in a bunch.
Yeah,
I can't think of them right now, but I know
Yeah.
she's been in a bunch because I'm like, hey, it's...
Yeah.
And again, I really liked her in Blindness, but that movie was extremely dark. Well, Blindness, basically the story said that when mankind collapses, basically every man turns into a rapist.
Wasn't she in...
Like, way to go, movie.
She was in Children of Men, wasn't she?
Yes. And that was great. Now, again, she was only in the first half of that film, but very good movie.
I didn't see it.
Oh, man, you people. But anyway, Seventh Son, this...
I was intrigued.
I'm going to say
see a
this.
longer
I have opinions. I will wait until you finish.
And I'm going to say this. It looks copy and pasted from Beowulf.
I never saw Beowulf.
Okay, did you
Or
read
read it.
Beowulf when we were in school?
No.
Okay, I did. I don't know. You must have a different English teacher than us. Sorry.
You should watch our Lego version.
Oh, yes. Watch our Lego.
Wait, no,
Rob,
I think I've seen that.
yeah, Robin and I, one of the first films we ever made was the
You
stop
did it for
motion
Mr. Lee's,
of Beowulf.
didn't you?
If you guys are going to look it
No,
up, go look up
no.
the story of Beowulf Lego, and which is probably one of our first films that we did. And again, the stop motion is awful, but it was a funny story.
It was very funny.
And Robin was voicing Beowulf, and he would speak, was it Mandarin?
No, Cantonese.
It's Cantonese. You'd speak Cantonese whenever you talk. You go,
But I add in English.
At 7-Eleven. He would throw in random crap in between the Cantonese.
Because it was supposed to be Old English or whatever.
Yes.
And
language.
obviously Cantonese is Old English.
Well, it's supposed to be a language that you don't understand, so.
Yeah, and I would just speak gibberish. I was this high-pitched king. I would go, I would just scream
Pretty
gibberish.
sure it wasn't like that. It was like.
Yeah.
I like that.
All
Again-
the things you will find out about Robin.
Yeah. Again, it was really silly, but the kids in our English class liked it. But anyway, the story of Beowulf is literally a man and his son coming to a castle where a king hires them to kill a monster, only to find out that the more powerful monster is the monster's mother, and the monster's mother is the one that destroys half of the kingdom. This is Beowulf.
Yep.
Oh.
That's correct.
Okay.
Oh, see, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
That's why
Again,
this
and
looks intriguing.
this may be a little more tweaked from Beowulf, but this looks like Beowulf.
Beowulf Jr.
Like, yeah.
Now, what
I
were your
mean-
thoughts, Karen?
I was just gonna ask, what's wrong with a reimagining of a story?
There's nothing wrong with a reimagining. Although, if you're going to make Beowulf, just make Beowulf. It just seems like there are so many plot points taken from that. If they would have just had the warrior coming to a kingdom, or just, the mother who's a monster, or just a couple of those elements, that's okay. But they're taking all of the elements and then calling it something different. That's what I don't like.
Right, it's a reimagining, not.
The story itself.
It's different. It's not set in the same time period.
See, the reimagining is like a nicer word for a ripoff.
Well,
Redesign.
okay, true. And that's something
The
that...
devil!
You play
That's-
foosball.
That's actually something that some people argue. What is the difference between paying homage to something and ripping it off? And it's a very fine line. Because, something like... what would be a good example? You could claim something like Hoodwinked ripped off of Shrek. Or Shrek ripped off of Hoodwinked, which one it came
Hoodwink
first.
ripped off a Shrek.
Yeah. Now,
I can
Hoodwinked
see it.
wasn't a bad film, but again, you could claim one of them ripped off the other. You could claim that
It wasn't a
something
good
like The Fly, the original Fly, or I should say the remake of The Fly, was paying homage to those campy 50s, 60s sci-fi pictures. So what's the difference between paying homage and ripping off?
Well,
you
I
know?
think ripping off would mean you're actually taking one full idea and taking it and repackaging as your own.
So that would be
Whereas-
this.
Like, let me in.
Whereas paying, sorry, you should.
No, go ahead. You can.
I was just thinking that paying homage to something would be taking elements of something and kind of stitching it together, or just taking some elements and having new elements of your own to add in, and then that's kind of paying homage, which is where I would draw the line,
Okay.
possibly.
I have a question for you, Michael.
Bum,
He's
bum,
in
bum.
All of the examples that you gave were from current movies. Beowulf is more than just a movie, as you said before. It's a old
Story.
it's literature. It's common literature. You're not. It'd be like I can't think of one off the top of my head, but
it's
like Romeo and
Sherlock.
Juliet.
Yeah, or
Okay, how about the story of King Arthur? Let's say. All right. Well, thank you, Robin. Robin's not talking too much. Okay. Robin gave his mic away. Let's say the story of King Arthur. If they did a story about another king who was trying to free a kingdom and came about a legendary sword, whether it was through a lake or through a sword in the stone or something, and then conquered an invading army and then saved his kingdom, would you say that's ripping off or paying homage to King Arthur?
I mean, like a kid in King Arthur's court?
Well, that was the story of King Arthur, though.
but I think it's neither. I think it's neither paying homage or ripping it off. I think it's, as Kim said, it's repackaging. It's kind of like
Right.
it's a new way of looking at it more than
Okay.
anything, because it's not really ripping it off, because it's using the same storyline, yes, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're ripping it off, because I think ripping it off means that you need to, I don't even know where the line is drawn, but I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Like I see where you're going with it, but I don't know how to word it
Right,
for
yeah.
it to make sense.
Yeah.
But it's,
I'm glad you're with me on that.
yeah, we agree with a lot of things, I find.
Okay, look, I'll say this. As far as just the premise, it may be ripping off, but the rest of the story may be completely different than from Beowulf had. If they do something like that, I'll take back this argument. If they do something completely different from Beowulf than what that story told, fine, great. You told an original story. You used the original premise to start a story, then did something completely different. I would be okay with that. But if it's just a cut and paste from Beowulf, that's what I have a problem with.
But I'm saying it's not, because it's a different time period. It's a different setting. It's not.
But it's
okay.
still medieval times.
Like,
I don't think so.
like what
Looks
about
like it.
all the reimaginings of, like, let's say, like Sherlock Holmes, right? Because
Right.
like right now there's the Robert Downey Jr. version, there's the Johnny Lee Miller version, and then there's the Benedict Cumberbatch version. And
Right.
I'm only listing
Sorry.
out the lead actors for Sherlock, but those are the kind of three. I mean, technically they're not ripping off the idea of Sherlock Holmes. They're each show, each series, each movie had a different take on it,
Okay.
basically.
Right.
So it's not so much ripping off, but
How-
you said
Kind of
reimagining.
like the
Yeah.
7
Right,
Doctor
okay.
Who's.
And
They each had their own kind of thing they did.
Doctor
all-
Who,
Yeah.
but Doctor Who
Is
it's
one
one
character.
continuity. They're
Yeah.
all the same continuity.
Sort of.
And what I'm talking, and as far as that, I understand what you're saying, but they're still all Sherlock Holmes. They're not taking that story and saying this is a completely different detective with the exact same story. You understand what I'm saying? They're still
Like they're
all
not using the same name. Like
they're still
using the
that's
name
still
of
the
Sherlock.
same character. You're telling a different story, which is fine, but it's still the same character. They're not saying this is Beowulf. This is a completely different character, completely different origin.
What was
That-
Beowulf the seventh son of the seventh son?
No. But
Well, there you go.
There's your difference.
But, I mean, you could have said he was Tom Thumb for all I care. I mean, I don't know. You could have said he was anything, but it's still the origin story of Beowulf.
All right, another example. So let's talk about, for example, reimagining Shakespeare.
Right.
For example, kind of like, to put in a movie like Clueless, or
Okay.
was Clueless Shakespeare?
I don't think
Well,
so.
She's the Man is Shakespeare.
yes.
Okay, let's go with She's
Okay.
the Man.
Oh, 10 Things I Hate About
Ten-
You.
That's the one I was thinking
Taming
of.
of the Shrew.
Taming of
It's
the
the
Shrew,
same
right.
thing.
Yeah. So it's technically the same exact storyline, but they changed the names of the characters. They're no
Exactly.
longer the same characters, but the whole entire plot's basically the same. Is it a ripoff? No, it's a reimagining of what the story is in a different.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. An interesting argument. And and I like that argument. And I like that argument. That's good. But I think in that sense people are aware that that's what they're paying homage to.
I had no
Not
idea
if
when I
you
saw it.
don't know Shakespeare.
Yeah, when I
or
first.
the-
yeah.
yeah.
But for those of us who are, I mean,
But the
Does
lot
like
of people
for example,
Does
like
it-
to give a perfect example, let's say "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou," which was a ripoff of the Odyssey.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know
which
that.
I didn't
You
know.
call that a ripoff?
Or I'm sorry. Let me
No,
me
it
take
was
that
the
back.
Odyssey.
It's okay. Sorry,
It's
I'm
a
gonna reword that.
retelling
It's
of
a
the,
retelling of the
retelling.
Odyssey in a different
Yeah.
time in the 1920s and 30s.
Right.
Right.
Oh, but it's awesome when you watch it with the AMC facts, because they tell you about all the links between everything and what everything's supposed to be. It's so.
It is. It's good.
I
The
started watching it, I was
story
like,
notes
this
on
is kind of
AMC are quite
annoying.
good.
And then
yeah.
I had to watch it because I'm like, I have to know how it ends.
But that's a retelling. But again, when I saw "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou," I'm like, within the first 15-20 minutes, I'm like, oh, holy crap, they're doing the Odyssey.
Yeah, I've seen it multiple times, and until I saw that on AMC with the fun facts, I was like, I never knew that.
Okay. Now,
But I've
so
read the
let's
Odyssey.
take something like that where they aren't coming out and saying this is a retelling of blank story.
Yeah.
But once you see it, you're like, okay, I know this is a retelling of it.
Right.
I could say the same thing about 10 Things I Hate About You.
Right.
And you could say, okay, once you point this out, I know this is a retelling of blank story.
Right.
This isn't a ripoff. This is paying
Wait, what was
homage
10
to that
Things I Hate
original
About You?
story.
Taming of the Shrew.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so, if you were to take Seventh Son and say, and put that out there and say, this is a retelling of Beowulf, I'd support it. But if they are trying to claim this isn't a retelling of Beowulf, if you're saying this is our own original story and just taking those plot points and taking it for their own and saying, oh no, this is completely original, I call bullshit.
Well, then I would say that's okay.
Right, yeah. But we don't know that.
We don't
they're
know.
doing
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay. So I understand your argument. That's a great argument. But I would think that if you are to do something like that, where if you're doing a retelling or paying homage to something, you don't have to put it out there immediately. You don't have to say blatantly, this is an homage or retelling of blank. But it should be obvious enough, and you should eventually own up to it to let people know, hey, we're not ripping off something, we're paying homage to something. But with something like Seventh Son, it's not paying homage to it unless they say, oh, we're just trying to retell Beowulf or tell a sequel to Beowulf or whatever.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that makes sense to me. I
Okay,
think.
well, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that being
I mean,
said,
I don't,
let's get
I
to
don't-
actual.
Fine, whatever.
No, Kim.
I was just gonna say I don't know. I haven't seen any interviews, not that I watch a whole lot, where people from 10 Things I Hate About You are saying, oh, or oh brother, where art thou? Where they ask them this question and they say, yes, we are paying homage to blank.
True.
Yeah, because a lot
You'd
of
have
the
to be
time,
pretty direct.
I think like some movies they do kind of they do kind of advertise it. I think they did for She's the Man.
Okay.
But I mean, I didn't know 10 Things I Hate About You was necessarily Taming of the Shrew until afterwards.
Yeah.
Until I was familiar with it.
Okay.
But like, unless you're, because I mean, there's so many stories being retold in Hollywood these days that sometimes, like when I first saw the trailer for this, I kind of did question, like, is it some kind of mythic fairy tale type thing?
And it says inspired by the acclaimed series. I have never heard of this series.
Oh yeah,
I have no idea
yeah,
what
that's
this
fair
is.
I don't. Yeah, I forgot about
Yeah.
that. But yeah, because like my opinions for when I saw the trailer was that I wanted Julianne Moore to kill everybody because she seemed to be the most kick-ass character.
She seemed to
of
have the
all.
one with the most character behind her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then everyone else, like, you've got, so you've got a whole bunch of men.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got the one person they're hunting down.
Which is a woman.
It's a woman.
Who's
and
evil and
who's
turns into a
evil.
monster.
Yeah.
And then one other woman who's a witch.
Like, and not only just that, but she's the opposite. She's like, oh, but not all witches are like that.
Yeah.
And like, and that just.
That's right. You're absolutely right. And that's
like,
awful.
It was so awful. That's why I just wanted, like, Julianne Moore to kill everybody.
Yeah.
Not that I condone killing, but
I do.
but like I just thought that they could have been a little more original in terms of, hey, let's go and find the evil woman and kill her.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, I'll say this. I don't know what's up with Jeff Bridges in this movie, but it sounds like he has a mouth full of marshmallows.
He was the same way in R.I.P.D.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
go out from the roof. Like, what? Dude, are you eating? What are you doing? I didn't get that the whole time. And cowardice. Okay, swallow your food, then do your line. For God's sake. And you said the same thing in R.I.P.D.?
Pretty much, yeah.
I don't
Hard
get
time
that. I
understanding what
don't
he was
get that.
saying.
It's subtitled.
I haven't seen any other movie where he's done that. He didn't do that in Tron. He didn't do that in what was another one he was in recently? I forget what else he was in.
Something big.
Yeah.
I just can't remember.
I can't remember, but he didn't do that in Tron. He was just normal in Tron, which was fine. But yes. Yeah, he was in the original Ghost Rider.
Oh. Was he in True Grit, or was that not him?
Yep, he was in True Grit.
Okay. Gosh.
Whoa.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Robin.
Sorry,
Down for the
Robin
count.
just leaned back in the chair and he didn't realize that the sofa is breaking. But and you can lean back in it. That's fine. But it's slowly breaking, and that's why it's going back that far. But
You'll never get up again.
you'll never get up again. Sorry, Robin. But does anyone else have any other thoughts about Seventh Son? I mean, I don't know if I'll see it. I'm not really intrigued by it because
I'm waiting for longer trailers.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the first main trailer. It revealed a lot of plot points, but again,
Yeah, but other trailers will reveal more plot points.
right. And but like Karen said, I mean, it's pretty stereotypical for most of their characters. You have the naive trainee who's going to become the great warrior, the grizzled veteran who's wise and powerful, but still is trying to beat the shit out of the trainee. Then you have the evil sorceress, if you will, who has to be conquered.
Witch.
And then the good witch, who everyone is trying to persecute, even though she's virginal and pure. And say, okay, whatever.
Yeah. So.
I mean, I don't know if there's one character in that whole movie other than Julianne Moore. Everything is a caricature, not a character. But we'll see.
We will see.
We will see. So moving on from that, another, I guess you'd call it period piece, which is Noah.
My father said that one day, if man continued in his ways, the Creator would annihilate this world.
Can it not be averted?
He speaks to you. You must trust that he speaks in a way that you can understand.
I saw water. Death by water. That's our new life. A great flood is coming. We build a vessel to survive the storm. We build an ark.
Oh, gosh. Right.
So,
I looked at the boat and I was like, how's that thing not going to fill with water?
yeah, that's what Kim said. She's like, it looks like a house, not a boat.
Yeah. And I was like, what, is there a door on the back? And I was like, there's no door on the back.
Because, like,
That's the strange thing. The Bible actually gives a very good account of how the ark was built and its dimensions. And
was it a box?
it was very box-like, but it was still tapered on the ends. It looked like it had the hull of a boat.
Okay.
But that's just it. This doesn't look like that. It just looks like a big box on either end.
But it was supposed to be stationary, though.
Was it supposed to be stationary?
I don't know, because like I was reading up on it afterwards. My Bible knowledge not very good. But I think I was reading up, and they were saying how like Noah had to send some birds out to see.
Right, the raven and the dove.
Yeah,
right.
like so I don't know if it was supposed to be stationary, but it looked stationary. Like like in the movie trailer, didn't it?
I don't know.
It looked like it was going to sink any second.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to sink.
Right? Let's just
Just
fill
stay
this
there.
sucker with water. Done.
We were watching it. Kim screamed, 2 of every animal, Noah. That's more than 2.
Yeah, I know, right?
I was like, just 2 guys, just 2.
I mean, I guess Noah doesn't want too much inbreeding, I guess. You know, but, oh well.
Just animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a great Robot Chicken skit about that where you saw the dinosaurs and the woolly mammoths and the Bigfoots trying to get on, and Noah wouldn't let them on. You guys are jerks!
It's like on Fantasia 2000, the Donald Duck and Noah, and there's like the unicorns that are like sitting off to the side, like laughing at them.
That's great. And on the end of the Robot Chicken sketch, you see the mermaids come out of the water, and it's like, hey, look, we can swim, we're gonna live. And the dinosaur bites the head off the female mermaid. He's like, guess not. And the male mermaid's like, shit.
Oh goodness.
But anyway, Noah. Russell Crowe is Noah. Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Russell Crowe has a reputation for being a drunken fighting asshole, but which Noah was originally, but before he became
You knew him first of all?
I knew him first. Yeah, I'm that old.
Okay.
No, but I believe, according to the Bible's account, Noah was
They
a
got
drunk.
together.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Noah was a drunk until he found out his purpose. So, I mean,
don't remember.
Yeah,
I
I
but
just remember the main plot points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
That's
yeah.
big
all I
boat,
remember.
big rainstorm, everything.
Exactly.
They're all good.
Rainbow
They
Branch.
survived.
Yep. This looks interesting. I don't know how they're going to work in an army attacking the
Yeah,
boat.
that
That's
was
hadn't.
like,
I do not recall that at all. I was like, what? Is that true?
Yeah.
There were people trying to get on the boat, and people were trying to destroy the boat. What?
What?
I mean,
That's basically that was my reaction when I finished. I'm like, What?
Yeah. Say
Yeah.
what? I don't know. This looks intriguing. I think the effects look great. I think this has a very good cast behind it.
Yeah.
Now, Russell Crowe, Emma Watson,
Yep.
and Anthony Hopkins, who I don't know if he's going to be on the boat or not. It looks like he gets left behind. But
And Jennifer Connelly.
the cast looks
Yeah,
very
Jennifer
good.
Connelly.
And Jennifer Connelly too. Yeah, I forgot that.
Forget her.
And I know is she an Academy Award winner?
I want to
I
say yes.
I don't know. I don't know what she won for, but
or at least a nominee.
maybe a
You
nominee.
mean she
Yeah.
didn't win for the Labyrinth?
No.
Just kidding.
She was in a beautiful.
No, she won for The
Mind.
Rocketeer.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
what she
that's
run
right.
for. You ever seen The Rocketeer?
Nah.
Oh my God, watch The Rocketeer. Oh, that's like pure 90s goodness right there. Even though it's a period piece, it's pure 90s goodness. But anyway, we digress.
I heard that's like a reimagining. Speaking of them, but I don't know of what. I could be way off though.
Well, that was more of an homage to like 50s and 60s cartoon
yeah.
comic serials.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, as Alison and Robin both pass out.
Hey, I've been up since like 4:15.
I know. We're gonna finish this up. And last thoughts on Noah. Did anyone have any other thoughts besides the cast and how the effects looked? And just I don't know. I mean, I know they have to, they have to Hollywoodize the story. There has to be more drama than just him getting the animals on the
I
boat.
don't know. I just feel like they didn't need to make this movie. Like,
No,
it was just a movie that did not need to be made. We had Evan Almighty, and I think that was good enough. Like,
But Evan Almighty wasn't even that good.
yeah, that's what. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I was just like, that was
point.
like, I think we're
Yeah.
good. We've had enough of the pairs of animals. So
I tell you what,
But-
some of the cast members in that movie, it was like you looked at them, and I think Wanda Sykes' part was she's black.
Wow.
I'm serious.
racist.
I know. I'm serious. All she did was mug for the camera and say things that people wanted her to say that were funny. That was it.
I never saw it.
Oh man.
I saw it, but I don't remember. I just remember Steve
You
Carell.
blocked it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
blocked out of
I
room.
just remember Steve Carell was in it.
Yeah, and Jonah Hill and
Jonah Hill was in it.
Yeah, and John
I don't
Goodman.
remember any of this.
John Goodman was the main evil guy. Yeah, and I love John Goodman, but he was not that good in that movie. But oh well. But moving on, the next one on our list is The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
We have ahead of us the privilege of publishing the very last issue of Life magazine. And for the final issue, we just received -25 from Sean O'Connell for the cover.
It's 25.
It's not there.
I know.
Maybe it's still on it.
It had a son that mowed the lawn.
I'm actually excited about this one.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, strangely enough. Like, it kind of was reminiscent of the style for me was kind of like Stranger Than Fiction.
Right.
So, and I'm not the biggest Ben Stiller fan. I like him okay enough, but it looked interesting. It looked like a good escape movie.
Yeah. Have any of you ever had these moments that Walter Mitty has?
Like the zoning out
The
moments.
zoning out moments?
Yeah.
I admit, when I was younger, I had these moments.
But mine are usually a lot more morbid.
Wow! How so?
Oh.
What, do you imagine, like, the zombie apocalypse happening around you? What?
Murdering That's in
that
Detroit,
annoy you?
remember?
Oh, yes.
No, I mean...
No, it's just, I like this. What would be your Walter Mitty? What would you
like,
imagine?
When I zone out, like, they are really quite morbid thoughts. Like, usually about some freak accident occurring.
Like Final
or-
Destination?
Oh, God.
Yeah,
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So, more like that kind of thing.
Interesting.
So next time you have one of these zoning out theories, let us know so we'll know.
Right.
So I can stop it before, it goes any further.
Exactly.
When I was younger, I'd have them, but, it was more like superhero related, obviously, or
Which is a lot more healthy.
Right, I would think so. Well, I don't know. I mean,
I imagine, like, cranes dropping on my head.
What?
Yeah, it's really weird. I told you it was morbid.
Robin, watch yourself. If you ever see any cranes, run.
No, not on anybody else. It's
No.
okay, So.
So if they're near you, they're probably going to get hurt.
But yeah.
Kim, do you have any Walter Mitty moments?
I don't think so.
Saving puppies from burning buildings or...
No.
No? Nothing?
No.
You have no imagination?
No.
Oh.
That's why I read.
Live other people's imagination.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Still,
Alison, do you have any Walter Mitty moments? No, nothing. She has her moments when she sleeps.
Still all more healthier.
Yeah, but
so it's all good.
This is interesting, and is this based around true events? I'm not entirely sure.
I don't know.
I don't recall, but no, this looks really intriguing, and I like the whole idea of the guy wanting to have the adventure and just
and actually getting it.
And actually getting
And then
it.
he was like, "Are you real?"
Yeah.
I like that.
Oh, I just
like
palmed
that
your
too.
face. It's intriguing, Sean Penn is kind of looking like a pedo in parts, but that's okay. The rest of the cast looks great. Looks like the rest of the cast is doing a great job.
And Kristen Wiig is in it, or Kristen Wiig. How do you say her name?
Wiig. I just say
It's
Kristen
Wiig.
Wiig.
Yeah. I like her a lot.
Yeah.
I've liked her in everything but Bridesmaids, but everything else I've liked her in. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're just a bridesmaid hater.
We'll discuss that at a later point.
Did
But-
you see her on Flight of the Conchords? Because she was on that.
Oh
too.
yes,
she was.
Barbara, right?
I
Wasn't
can't
she?
remember her name, but I just remember that they both liked her or something.
Yes.
and-
And the epileptic dog.
Yeah.
Never saw that.
You've never
It
seen
was-
Flight of the Conchords?
No.
It was a on HBO. Yeah, series.
See, I don't get HBO, so I've really
You missed out.
Yeah,
That was
sorry.
it's an
hilarious.
amazing show.
I'm sorry.
Amazing.
My apologies.
I think I talked to you about it.
I think you
before.
have. Yeah.
You just didn't pay attention.
No, I paid attention. I've heard of it. I just haven't watched it.
Okay.
Gosh. But no, this looks very intriguing, and I like the idea that his daily life just transitions into these amazing stories in a heartbeat, and there's like no stop. There's not it's not like it doesn't go black and white or doesn't become stylized and futuristic. It just happens.
Yeah.
And I like that because you might start questioning what is his reality and what is just his Walter Mitty moments, So it'll be interesting to see, how much of this which is happening for real.
Yeah.
How much is he imagining? I don't know if towards the end maybe it's all real, but we don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. It looks good.
Yeah.
I would want to see
I'm
I'll
interested.
definitely want to see it.
I think out of all the trailers that we're reviewing today, I think that's the one that's piqued my interest. the
Gotcha.
most.
Good. And we'll move on to the last one, which is one that I wanted to include just because we talked about it last week, which is Nymphomaniac.
If you have wings, why not fly?
If I asked you to take my virginity, would that be a problem?
No, I don't see a problem.
You are to ask him if he wants to have sex with me.
Yeah.
My name is Joe. Hi, Joe. And I'm a nymphomaniac.
Sex addict. We say sex addict.
I know that. What?
Would it be all right if I show the children the whoring bed?
I've never met a bad human being.
Well, you have now.
We discussed this one last week and the controversy behind it. This is a film that's going to debut soon at the Cannes Film Festival, and the theatrical cut is 5 hours long.
Yeah. Did you hear that they apparently they accidentally showed the red band trailer for
Yes.
this before Frozen or something?
Right.
Oh my god.
Yes, this is at a theater, and they accidentally attached the red band trailer to Frozen. Holy crap! I would want to be in that.
Children will be scarred.
So scared.
I hope that's not the one that my nieces went to.
Oh no, Mommy! Why is that girl tied to the chair? Shh! I'm watching.
Oh my god. No, don't. Speaking of pedos.
But yeah, I heard about that, Karen, and that is awful. Holy! I remember something else had happened along those lines with another children's film where they'd attached a trailer to like a Saw film, or no, it was like a Hostel trailer. It was a red band for Hostel, and they had attached it to I don't know, some Shrek film or something. This was a while back, and people freaked.
can imagine.
Yeah, and now this has happened. I mean, it's like
I can imagine people freaking out about something
Now-
like this.
now here's the thing.
I would.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I have two thoughts about that. First, maybe Tyler Durden is working up in the booth. Or two, because everything's digital now, this had to have been caught somewhere. It's not like back when I was a projectionist, when we could actually physically cut trailers into the beginning of a preview. You got to pick your trailers. And you there's no way you didn't know what trailer was going on there. You may forgot what movie it was going on to, but you knew what trailers were going with what. So the only thing I can assume is that the trailers got switched and that these trailers were intended for another movie, and it was just done in the computer.
Yeah.
So who knows? But yeah, that's a very tragic case. I mean, I laugh at it, but that's pretty messed up.
Really, really.
Oh, poor kids. I can just imagine all the parents that simultaneously just grabbing their kids' eyes. Nope. But anyway, so again, this is a pretty controversial film that's coming out, and this is kind of the
Pretty controversial. Incredibly controversial.
this is the anti-Thanks for Sharing. Do you remember us reviewing the trailer for that? It hasn't come out yet, I don't think. But Thanks for Sharing was Gwyneth Paltrow and Pink. And what's the guy who plays Bruce Banner from Avengers?
Mark Ruffalo?
Mark Ruffalo. And it's about people with sex addiction.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I do remember that now.
We discussed this a few episodes ago.
Yeah.
And it's a movie that's coming out soon. It's about these people who have sex addiction and what they have to give up because of sex addiction.
Right.
It's a bit more friendlier than this, you know? And it kind of takes a lighthearted route to it. I mean, it's serious, but it's still kind of lighthearted. People still have fun.
Right.
And Mark Ruffalo and Gwyneth Paltrow are still trying to have a relationship without having sex.
Right.
You know? And it looks like it takes a serious tone, but you can still have fun with it.
Right.
This is just...
It's not as raw as
It's
this.
as raw as this, yeah. Because apparently there's about half an hour in this of just pure sex.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, Lars von Trier, if you wanted to make a porno, make a porno.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like
there's nothing...
this-
If you want to go into that, fine,
Yeah.
make a porno, you
Like,
know?
this is supposed to be like the third in the trilogy of depression or something,
Right.
right? Yeah.
Exactly. The first one was Antichrist.
Yeah. The second
And
one-
when he first made Antichrist, he was in the fit of a massive depression.
Yeah.
And it really showed in that film. It is an extremely dark film.
Yeah.
Then he went into Melancholia. I've still yet to see all of Melancholia.
That's the name of the movie?
Yeah, Melancholia. And it's about a rogue planet smashing into Earth and killing everyone.
Yeah.
Literally, the planet is about 10...
No, I'm just
Yeah. The rogue planet is 10 the size of Earth. So
Okay,
the
10
Earth...
times the size?
Yeah. So, what? Did I word that?
You were like 10 size. The
Earth.
Sorry, I worded
10
that
size of the
weird.
Earth.
I'm sorry. And Earth is just obliterated.
Yeah.
And there's no saving anyone.
Right.
Well, this is the third in that line of those ultra depressing stories.
Yeah.
And again, it's like what the woman says in the trailer. It's like, oh, we call it sex addiction. You know, no, it's nymphomania. And that's what Thanks for Sharing is saying. You know, it's like, Thanks for Sharing is like, oh, well, it's sex addiction, but, you know, we can make light of this. We're trying to support each other. And this, it's like, no, you go to this addicts meeting, but you're still alone. Like, you're not getting help. It's pretty dark. And it looks like it just destroys this woman's life.
Yeah.
And through
I
all...
couldn't get any kind of story out of it.
Yeah, neither. I could just I mean, like, I think it was like this film when I saw the trailer, it just seemed like there was more. It was more for the shock value than it was for the story.
Very true. Very
So,
true.
I don't know.
Very little has been shown of this movie. You can go, and there's currently 6 clips of the movie that have been posted.
Mm-hmm.
The clips explain nothing. A couple of them are in the trailer, like the one with Uma Thurman talking to the girl, like, can we see the whoring bed? You know?
Okay.
And by the whoring bed, she means that apparently this girl, this main character, had an affair with this man. And Uma Thurman was the wife, and they had 2 kids.
Yeah.
And for some reason, Uma Thurman, who's some sort of like either like evangelical or ultra Christian or something, decides that it would be a good lesson for her children to take them into the apartment of the woman who committed the crime.
Like,
you know,
like the quote was like, "What? Like, do you want to see Daddy's favorite place or something
Right.
like that?" And it was creepy.
Yeah, and then she takes the 2 kids into where the bed is. Like, look, this is the whoring bed.
Okay.
It's like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
I mean, it's an interesting character study about what people will go through just to get sex. I mean, what they're willing to do. Like, you see the girl tied to the chair and being, abused. It's like, if this is what they need to get sex, this is what it comes to, And then you see, I'm pretty sure it's an older version of herself later on, just dark and depressed. Like, this is what she's turned into because of her addiction, It's very depressing. It's very dark. But again, Lars von Trier is known for that. And I've never seen a Lars von Trier film that wasn't visually beautiful. He is a very great visual director, and his films are stunning. His themes are really fucked up, but his visual style is one of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, Karen, do you have thoughts?
I don't know. Like, again, just kind of seeing what was in the trailer, you don't really get too much from what's going on. But I don't know. Like, I'm kind of... It's not a movie that I'm likely to see. I think that's probably what I would say.
Okay.
It's just like... It seems like even if you take out, the sex and the porn and everything that's in it, it is really dark.
Mm-hmm.
And... like, as you said, I think it's more of an artsy kind of film. It kind of has, if you're saying, like, visual direction. Yeah, and that kind of thing. It's just not my cup of tea, necessarily. I don't know if I'm the best commentator for this, either. Just simply because, like, it's not something that...
Because I'm not into sex. No, I'm joking.
like,
I'm joking.
Nobody said that.
Mike said that.
Robin does not even acknowledge it.
He is dead to the world.
Dead to the world.
Out for the count.
But it's not a subject necessarily. I think the darkness and the subject matter is not something that everyone can
stomach.
No, I was thinking just relate to.
Okay.
So
right.
I think in that.
In that moment, Robin starts snoring.
And I think in that, you have to find a very specific niche to kind of watch it.
Right. Fair enough. And the niche for this is fans of Lars von Trier.
Yeah.
I mean, I've spoken to people online who just despise this man. They think he's one of the worst directors of all time.
Yeah.
And in fact, the Cannes Film Festival is kind of like the Apollo of film festivals. People go in there and just get booed off stage.
Right.
In fact, Lars von Trier has been booed several times, even though his films have won. People just hate the man. Yeah. They think he's one of the most pretentious directors of all time.
Yeah.
Again, Antichrist was a very misogynistic film.
Yeah.
I would like to see your opinion on Antichrist. Because if you were to watch that, I think you'd walk out of that like saying, I hate everyone.
I already do.
Well, yeah, we already do. But
more
visually, the film was stunning. Melancholia, I haven't seen it. I've seen like the first 10 minutes of the film just because someone linked it to me just to see the visual style of it. Right. And I thought it was beautiful. It was stunning. And I would like to see the rest of the film, but again, I've heard it's a very, very depressing, dark film. Yeah. And this is now the third in that trilogy of, hey, we're just going to depress you the whole time.
Yeah.
So.
And that's also something that I don't need. I'm already depressed by the world.
Aww.
It's like, I don't really need to add to that.
Fair enough.
You want to be entertained.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I can be entertained by dark. There's nothing wrong with dark. I don't know if I can take... I can't take 5 hours of it.
You don't want to walk out feeling like
sad and
more sad.
Like,
right.
I just want to go crawl into a ball
for
the next 2 days.
Right, exactly.
Not what I need.
No.
Kim, Alison, any thoughts? I mean, I remember when I sent this to you guys, first thing I said is not suitable for work.
Yeah.
This is the first trailer I've released where I'm like, guys, just don't watch this anywhere where like your family or friends are with you.
Or anyone can judge you for watching it.
Exactly.
I saw it at the library. I made sure nobody was around. Because I knew
you Wi-Fi.
It was like at like 9 a.m. There was no one there yet, and I was in the little corner where there was no one behind me.
Okay,
no
surrounded by a wall.
Surrounded by the walls.
Nice.
But yeah, it's I don't know. Like I don't want to say to any kind of any movie or any piece of art or anything that comes about and say that it's not necessary in the world, because I think that's an unfair comment, but I don't know how necessary this would be to my life, like, you know,
Right.
as an addition to
Yeah.
kind of to enrich the beauty of my life. Like, it's, it's just not necessarily there. So that's just
Well,
my
fair enough.
take.
Again, I'm intrigued by this. I don't think I'll ever be able to get a hand on it until like next year because it's very hard to get your hands on Lars von Trier films. Now again, Antichrist is on Netflix. Surprisingly, I'm shocked by that. Melancholia isn't. I don't think that'll be on anytime soon. But this, you know, it may take 3 or 4 years before I can ever find a copy of it. You know, but I don't know. Do I want to see it? Not really. Am I intrigued by it? If it was on, would I watch it? Probably. Because, again, the visual sense of this director is enough to make me want to see it. Just for the cinematography alone. So, no, nothing can.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, I guess I'm sad for including this as the last film because, you know, it's like, we had Walter Mitty, which was like, oh, it's so nice and enheartening. It's so encouraging. Then we had Nymphomaniac. Fuck everything.
Yeah.
But if there's nothing else, anything else you guys want to bring up? Nothing?
I'm good.
All right.
That's about it.
All right, that's about it. So we'll let these kids go home and get to sleep because half of them are passing out. And one of them is already, well, okay, 2/5. And one of them is dead asleep. So I want to
Yeah, we're gonna draw on them now.
Yep. And so I want to thank Karen and Allison and Kim for stopping by, and I want to thank Robin for coming by and sleeping. Robin. Robin. There
There he is.
Just bang his head on the wall, wakes him up.
He woke up and gave me an angry look and went right back to sleep. So, guys, thanks for tuning in. Have a good night and take care.
Bye bye.
Can't